Sound speeds. And if you've ever wondered how to measure the EIN of your USB audio interface or audio recorder, then you're going to want to pay close attention to this video because I'm going to be showing you a very simple and easy way to do just that. But before we get going, a few things to mention. First of all, have you watched my video on EIN? Because if not, you might want to pause right here and play catch up by watching it before you move on. Unless, of course, you're confident with your EIN knowledge. Now, that said, moving on. In the world of analog audio, we use a dBu meter, which is decibels relative to a particular voltage. As you've heard me say in the past, sound is simply vibration, and we measure sound levels or volume in decibels. Audio devices don't understand decibels as we hear them, but they do understand voltage, and at 0 dB, the voltage equals 0.775 volts. Digital audio is different, as is the meter used to represent digital audio levels. dBFS, or decibels relative to full scale, is a measurement of amplitude in the digital world where 0 dB represents the loudest an audio level can be without distorting. Being that it's digital, there is no voltage associated with any audio level on a dBFS meter. It's all binary words, zeros and ones. The reason we started there is because if you notice, there's no way to digitally measure the amplitude directly. We have to convert an analog volume level to digital, and to do this, we have to use a 1K reference tone. This is a Behringer CT100 cable tester and tone generator. Now, it is far from perfect, but we're going to use it for today's test regardless. Now, I do want to point out that they have 3 different volume output levels that you can set it to: plus 4 dB, minus 10 dB, and minus 50 dB, and we're going to be using the minus 50 dB for today's test. This is a Neutrik NCMXX connector with a 150 ohm resistor soldered between pins 2 and pins 3. This simulates what it would sound like if you plugged in a 150 ohm microphone to your interface or recorder and did not pass any audio through. This is 100% thermal noise, the sound coming straight off of the 150 ohm resistor. And it should be noted that you should never ever put 48 volts phantom power through to this thing. There's a lot of factors that could affect an accurate EIN measurement, and here's a short list of just some of them. Temperature during the reading, bandwidth of the circuit, quality of the XLR connector used, actual impedance of the input termination, accuracy of your preamps at a given decibel readout, accuracy of the tone generator used, accuracy of VST measurements, and the accuracy of your analog-digital converter. For our purposes in this video, we're going to treat everything as if it were calibrated perfectly and ideal in every way. We're going to start by plugging in the tone generator to my Mix Pre 6 recorder. If you're curious about the cable I'm using, watch this video right there and I'll tell you all about it. Because the tone generator is outputting a negative 50 dB tone, I'm going to set my preamps to plus 50 dB of gain. That should give me an analog audio level of 0 dB, and it's going to allow me to see how far off my analog and digital levels are, but more on that later. I've recorded enough tone by now, but I'm going to leave it recording as I unplug the cable from the tone generator and connect up my XLR dummy. Now, I do recommend plugging it directly into your interface or recorder, but I made this cable and trust it 100%, so we're doing it this way instead. Like I tell my kids, do as I say, don't do as I do. EIN measurement should be taken with preamps all the way up at maximum gain, and on a Mix Pre 6, that's plus 76 dB. Once I've recorded 20 to 30 seconds of this pure 150 ohm thermal noise, we can hit stop and bring the file into our DAW. I imported the file into Reaper and selected only the isolated track from the polyphonic wave file that we recorded. We'll select a few seconds from the middle of the tone we recorded and bring up JS audio statistics and effects. The average level is negative 17.29 dBFS, so we know that 0 dBu on our analog meter is actually 17.29 dB higher than this. Next, we'll select a few seconds from the middle of the silence that we recorded using our XLR dummy load and hit reset. This is a very low level, so our numbers are going to fluctuate quite a bit, but most of the time it's reading a negative 71.35 dB, so I'm going to use that number for our calculations. Now for some math. Negative 71.35 was our measurement, but we need to add 17.29 back to that so we see what it would be like on a dBu analog meter. Negative 54.6 dBu, but that's at maximum gain, so we'll now need to subtract the amount of preamp gain we added, which is 76 dB, and our result is negative 130.06 dBu. And that number right there is our EIN. Usually, when you look at a manufacturer's specification, you'll see the EIN number followed by dB lowercase u or dB capital V. The difference? dBV is a more impressive number because it's lower. So if you want to find the actual dBu number, then you simply add 2.22 decibels to the dBV value to find the dBu value. You'll also usually see it with a weighting listed after it, and if so, that means a weighting curve was applied to it, so that way the level will more reflect the way it would sound to a human ear. In closing, I do want to thank both Julian Krause and Sound Devices, along with the Sound Reinforcement Handbook by Gary Davis and Gary D. Davis, for helping to confirm the technique I used in this video. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Sound Speech, and be sure to tune in the future for more interesting sound tests, a whole bunch of information, and sound advice. Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.